Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and you like the content, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Oh, and if you are new to the channel, please make sure you pay attention to these lovely timestamps to find whatever content it is you're looking for. Tones will be more towards the end of the video, so feel free to skip ahead if that's what you're interested in. All right, so let's get into it. Last week, I posted up a video about this guitar, basically just chit-chatting about it. I got it super cheap. I think I paid 135 bucks Canadian for it, and I said in that video, you know what? Maybe with just a few extra little performance parts added to this, we could have a pretty awesome budget shredder. So, you know what I did? I ordered some parts. Let's talk about it. All right, so before we get into the actual parts list of what I put on this guitar, just a quick recap of what this is. This is a 1989 Profile Professional CF750 RC. Basically just your typical Superstrat out of the 80s. This thing is a plywood body. The pickups that were in it were god-awful, and the bridge was pretty much unusable. So in the last video I said, hey, I kind of like this guitar. The paint job is wicked cool. The neck feels pretty good, but the bridge and the pickups were absolute shit. So I thought to myself, how can we improve this situation? Lo and behold, we bought some parts, stuck them in this guitar, and I'm going to tell you whether or not this was worth it. All right, so the parts list itself. Let's start off here. What did we buy? First things first, we got ourselves a brand new Wilkinson double locking bridge. These are pretty new on the market. I kind of wanted to try one out. The price wasn't too bad. This was $70. So I thought 70 bucks seems reasonable. If it's anything even remotely close to a Floyd Rose Special, should be half decent. So we got one of those. Next one we get bridge pickup. We got ourselves a Zebra Wilkinson overwound classic tone ceramic pickup. Those of you who are familiar with my Instagram channel know that I actually already have one of these. It's in another guitar that I have, a nice old Fender Squire series, and I like the sound of it, so I thought, hey, you know what? This is only about $30. Let's jam one in here. I know it sounds good in that guitar. Might sound good in this guitar. Next up, we have the Music Lily 37mm fat brass block. So these were pretty new out on Amazon. It looks like they're sold out already. What I can tell you about this is basically it's the same specs as a Floyd Rose brass block. It'll mount to any Floyd Rose spaced base plate. So for the price, I was super eager to try one of these. This was only $20. For the other pickups in here, the two single coils, what I did buy was this Low Goss Hot Rails 3-pack from Wilkinson again. I actually have some of these as well, at least the bridge version, in another guitar, and I like the sound of that. So I thought, hey, why don't we try out the single coil sized humbuckers and see how those sound in this particular guitar. These were $65. However, as you may have noticed, we already have a bridge pickup. So no need in keeping that one, so I'm going to go ahead and just subtract that from the price that I paid. We'll say I paid maybe 40 bucks for these two, then I'm going to sell that other pickup there just so I can recoup some money. All right, good. All right, and the last thing on the list, a 3-position switch. On, off, on, just like the bridge on this. So these were 10 bucks from Amazon, thought I'd give them a try. I thought maybe if I put these in the neck in the middle position, I could open up some more tonal options. So yeah, we'll give those a shot and see how they work out. All right, so let's address probably the most important piece of this build, the bridge. You guys may have remembered from the last video that this was the bridge that was on the Profile. This is a neat design. You can see it doesn't have any springs underneath here like you'd find on a Floyd Rose. It uses just the tension of the strings itself to keep this depressed, which is kind of a clever design. However, as you can probably already tell by looking at the steel, this is an epic turd. Yes, this is complete shit. So first things first, what do we want to do with this bridge? Get rid of it. And here's its replacement. This is the Wilkinson double locking tremolo bridge. The reason I really wanted to try one of these out is I don't know if you're familiar with Godot style bridges, but to my eye, this looks an awful lot like a Godot. I must say this showed up, the quality's pretty good. The arm on it feels really nice. This is actually a screw-in arm as opposed to a push-in or a collar type. This is really firm, like this feels fantastic. This is one of the best feeling arms I've ever felt, which is kind of amazing considering this is on a super inexpensive bridge. Again, I think I paid $70 for this. I'm rounding up. I think it was maybe 67 on Amazon, something like that. But again, wonderful feeling bridge. The adjustments here on the saddles, these are great. They've actually gone and staggered these the way you normally would when you're setting your intonation stock, which I thought was a really clever little touch, and I wasn't expecting that on something this inexpensive. So go Wilkinson. So far, pretty happy with this trem. One thing I will mention about this trem though is after I had it installed, I did remove it again because I had to put on that big brass block. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And the thing, of course, you know, once I had the bridge off again, I was able to take a really good look in here on the base plate and take a look at where the friction points are against the posts. And I did notice a bit of wear. I'll show you guys a picture of that. Yeah, okay, so I did notice a bit of wear here. It doesn't look like anything too crazy. I've seen wear kind of similar to this on Floyd Rose 2s as well as Floyd Rose Specials, which seems fairly consistent with kind of the amount of money you pay for bridges like this. These are the kind of compromises you're going to be finding in materials to try and keep costs down, keep this affordable. Now, of course, I've gone and decked this, so this is dive only. This should be stable. I've had guitars with bridges like that before with no problems. And actually, honestly, so far, this has been pretty good. Hasn't really gone out of tune on me since I put it in. One thing I will mention that was quite fortunate was that this bridge actually fit on here perfectly without me having to reposition these posts. I was super worried that I was gonna have to put dowels in here and then re-drill them and then put in new studs and new posts, and that would have just been a huge headache. So super happy this does fit. All right. Okay, let's see how well this stays in tune. Let's go. Pretty decent. So let's talk about this brass block. Here's what it looked like when it showed up. All right, so here's the Music Lily brass block. Pretty nice machined looking piece of equipment here. Although, just looking at it, we're gonna have a problem already. And if you look at the bridge here, not a bad looking bridge for the money, you can already tell what the problem is gonna be. This little piece right here, yep, that's gonna interfere. So let's just see here. Let's put that on top and see what we got. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to try and hack off a bit of this, and that should fit nice and snugly. Of course, the spacing on this is identical to what you would find in an official Floyd Rose, so that's great stuff, but there's a problem. For whatever reason, the Wilkinson bridge, even though this is a Music Lily product, and Music Lily is the manufacturer of Wilkinson as far as I know, for some reason, the bolt spacing that they use here is different. So they use a thinner bolt with a different thread pitch to go through the Music Lily into their block, whereas on these brass blocks, they've got a thicker bolt with a much more fine thread pitch. So that could cause some issues. The problem I had initially with this, and part of the reason why I had to take this bridge off after I already had it on, was that the bolts that come with it, they won't seat themselves nicely in the beveled area of the base plate. And what that means is basically that all of your saddles here will be slightly raised, which you really don't want. That's going to affect how much tuning range you have with these. I got lucky because I happen to have some leftover bolts, which were the right pitch and were a little bit thinner than the ones that came with it as far as the head shape. And basically these worked for my purposes. Just be aware, if you buy one of these thinking it's going to fit direct on a Wilkinson bridge, you're in for a surprise because they won't fit without some serious modification. Anyhow, it's on there. It looks fine. Here's the block here. You can see it here. This is actually a really, really nice quality block. I would say this is on par with anything you're going to buy from Floyd Rose. The machining tolerances on it are absolutely phenomenal. It looks great. It's nice and girthy. Yeah, I really like it. Oh, also you can see here, this is where I decked it. That's just a little bracket I made, so I didn't include that in the parts list. I honestly found that in my toolbox, and I happen to have this kind of brass machine screw and a couple brass nuts. So, free gains. Also, you're probably noticing these springs here. These aren't the stock springs. I've got quite a few Godos on some other guitars, and those always come with these beautiful high-tension black Godo springs. I had two kicking around, so we threw those on there, again, for $0. I would like to point out, though, that I did indeed have to hack off just a little bit off of the brass block itself in order to accommodate the arm. I got a hacksaw and a vise. Took me a whopping 2 minutes to do this, but if you do buy one of these thinking it's going to fit, again, a little bit of modification is going to be required in order to get this to play nicely with all these other tolerances which are already machined into the bridge itself. Okay, electronics. First things first, I intended to wire this like a really clever person because we've already got this set up right now where I've got this wonderful toggle switch here, which is down full humbucker, in the middle it's off. I do that and you get a split coil. I'm like, you know what? These are mini humbuckers, right? Why don't I get another three-way toggle switch and install that here as well and get even more tonal variety? Anyhow, I found this really disappointing because I spent quite a bit of time figuring out all my wiring just to have these installed and then realize that the final fit and finish and feel on them just wasn't up to the same quality as the stuff that came on this OEM. Like these click nicely into place. So pro tip, if you do want to get three-way switches or even two-way switches, don't cheap out on the bargain bin stuff from Amazon because this is indeed quite honestly shit. make sure you get yourself a decent product. Anyhow, so that being said, basically our format of the electronics is identical to what it was in the old video, just we've upgraded the pickups. So in the bridge, we have the Wilkinson overwound hot ceramic zebra humbucker F-spaced. This is the toggle switch, middle position is off, down is full humbucker, up is split. So that's the same. Up here, what do we have? So for the neck and the middle, we have Wilkinson Logos hot wound ceramic mini humbucker single coil pickup things. Anyway, these are pretty neat. I haven't tried these in these positions yet. I do have another guitar where I've got one of these, the super hot one in the bridge position. I'll leave a card up here somewhere so you guys can check that out if you want. And anyway, I quite like the sound of it for the money, so I thought, why don't we gamble? We'll put them here, see how they sound. And again, these are controlled the same way as the other pickups were. Basically, you've got up is off, down is on. That's it. So they're either on or off, and you can put these in whatever combination you want. But unfortunately, I didn't get to split them like I was hoping. Maybe later I'll get some better toggle switches and do what I really wanted to do with these. Anywho. And I'm just going to do most of these tones kind of clean, just to give you an overview of how these pickups kind of sound on their own, and then we'll do something a little bit more polished and produced after this clip. So fast forward to that if you just want to see this in a rock context. Alright, neck pickup. E minor 7. This already sounds significantly better to my ears than those last abominations that were in here. Yep, that sounds pretty decent. Alright, neck and middle together. Pretty decent, feeling that. Get my funk on. Middle! Quite a big volume drop, but still sounds a lot better than the last pickups that were in here. Works for me. Alright, middle and bridge. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. Pretty good. Alright, so now we are in just bridge. Alright, enough of that. Sounds pretty good though, right? And here's that humbucker split. Pretty usable. But the question you really want to know is, how do these pickups sound for some good old rock and roll and some leads? Let's find out. For the purpose of this next clip, I'm just going to be doing pretty much everything back here on the bridge, including the leads, just because, let's be honest here, that's where you're going to spend 95% of your time, likely with a crackle finish guitar like this, right? Am I wrong? All right then, let's do it. So there you have it. This is my El Cheapo guitar, which I bought for $135. Put another whopping $160 worth of parts into it. And now for $295 Canadian, I have myself a pretty decent little budget shredder. So let's think about it. Like, what else is there currently on the market with a finish like this for under $300? That sounds like this at this point, and plays like this, I should say. Pretty much nothing. So you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. That's basically how this guitar looks, sounds, and performs after the modifications. Let me know what you think in the comments below, if you think it was an improvement, if you think it was worth it. Anyhow, let me know if you like this Cheap Thrills review. I've got a couple other inexpensive guitars that I've done very similar modifications to. I can do more reviews on if you're interested, so let me know. But yeah, that's it. And remember, if you like the content, please make sure you leave me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you're so inclined. And we'll catch you in the next video. So until then, keep on shredding. Bye for now.